Say, Josh, have you ever seen the? No, I'm not going to start that way again. Hey, Josh,
What's up?
if aliens visited us, if aliens appeared, let's like not even worry about the hypothetical because people have discussed it to death. The hypothetical of if aliens exist or not. Maybe
Okay.
they do, maybe they don't. Let's say aliens show up tomorrow. How does the world react?
You mean like how would I react if
Yeah, let's start with you. How would you react?
let's talk about there's so many variables that come into it. So how do they show up? Is it like
Um,
take me to your leader thing, a we come in peace thing, or we just see aliens in the distance? Like, what is this?
let's say like it's like the movie Arrival, where some floating ships just appear. You know they're from space because they're weird ships. They just appear floating above cities.
Okay.
What do you do?
So, all
Do
right.
you go to work the next day?
If it's just a floating ship, I think I do go to work the next day. I think
Yeah.
I think, and I kind of have a feeling like we've talked a little bit about this before, but
Yeah.
I have a feeling like if it's something like that, people go. There's a lot of people that show up, and of course, I mean, think about government. They would block off tons of street. Like as far, I mean, you would have to see through fucking binoculars basically in order to see it, but if you could see it, I think people would just stand there with their mouth agape, staring at this, whatever it is. But honestly, I think I go to work, I live my life, and
How?
wait for something to happen. Basically, I mean, of course,
Yeah.
at work, I'm listening to something or I'm watching something.
Right.
I mean,
Someone's live streaming
I'm
it from
going
the
to
top of
work,
their
but
apartment.
I'm working, right?
Yeah. Some dude's in his apartment on the roof of his apartment, live streaming the video of this ship just floating there, and you pull
Yeah,
up that stream every 20 minutes or
exactly.
so. Like shit, has the ship done anything? No, it's just floating there. God damn, how long do we stare at it? It's
But
been, it's been up there for 3 weeks, guys. What do we do? Do we just, I don't know, go to Baskin Robbins?
I know we're talking about aliens right now, and I really don't want to get too far off of this, but I just want to because you said that, I just want to touch on something real quick. So the world is always moving, and that's something that's always like, I guess, kind of bothered me, right? I'm gonna give you an example of this. If somebody gets in a car accident, someone gets in a car accident and they fly out their fucking windshield. They're bleeding all over the concrete, and their car's bleeding, right? There's like all kinds of
Well, I assume
fluid,
their car's not bleeding, but yeah.
all kinds of
Oh, you mean,
fluid,
okay.
yeah,
Oh,
fluids coming
right.
from their car. You know what I mean? It dumps all over the ground. There's glass. There's everything all over the floor. Well, what happens after that? The ambulance comes, right? Cleans up the person. A tow truck comes. There's a cleanup crew for all the the blood and for the radiator fluid, transmission fluid, whatever's on the ground, and everybody just continues to drive right where that person died, right where that car hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, we live in a world where everything is continuous, and anybody, like, someone's life could end, and that's an interruption. That's a problem for everybody else. And then as soon as we clear it up, we clear the interruption up, and then everybody just continues to go,
Right.
their normal life. And it just reminded me of that because I think that's really what it would be. It would be an interruption. It would be something that gets in our way momentarily, and then we'd probably forget about it. If
Right. We just
I think
adjust around it.
exactly, and I think they're kind of worried about telling us about stuff like that, right? I think they're worried about letting us know because of what our reactions would be. But I think we find out about it. There's this huge hype about it. Aliens, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. It's a huge thing for a while.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it becomes the normal. It becomes something that that we talk about. It's something that everybody's used to. And then we fucking move on. And then
Yeah. Well,
we just accept it.
I mean, for instance, like I don't believe Area 51 is an alien place, but let's say hypothetically it is. Just aliens are there. There's some kind of cover up there.
Okay.
The way that they treat it is exactly how they treat it if aliens were actually there.
Of course.
They pretend like it's nothing, but it's this weird place. Like you're right. Like we just move on. we do. Because what else do you do?
No.
Um,
And I think that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. I talked about this on my buddy's podcast before. Like there's so much secrecy, and if you shroud something in secrecy, we're going to fill in the blanks ourselves, and that's what gives all of this light to these conspiracy theories. I put that in quotes because I do believe that there's some of these things might have some truth behind them. The whole extraterrestrial life here on Earth, that's kind of far-fetched for me. As far as there being extraterrestrial life out there, that's something that I absolutely believe. There's no way out of all of the billions of I was gonna say constellations, so stupid. I was gonna galaxies out there.
Yeah,
there's
right.
no way that we are the only habitable planet.
Right. Yeah, it's billions of galaxies with billions of stars in each one. There's a high chance of something being out there with just that. You play the odds. It's massive. So let's raise the stakes. What happens if it's aliens show up in Washington D.C. and are like, "Hey, President Trump, we're talking." Yeah.
A la Independence Day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so they would need to speak to world leaders. Do you think that Trump would be the first on that list?
They might not know. United States is one of those.
Number one, it depends on where, I guess, the first place they interact with. If they have some way to spy on us and to know by seeing television or news or whatever, maybe they would come to America. But at the same time, it depends on how they feel world leaders are determined.
I mean, to be fair, like if you showed up to an alien planet that was like our planet, had a bunch of buildings and whatnot, you would have no idea if you didn't speak their language and whatnot. You would have no idea which of these thousands of cities is the capital. Where is the leader?
So what would you do if you flew up? You were the alien, right? You flew up to it. You look at the Earth as it is. Let's pretend it's a flat Earth for a second, so you could see all of it at once.
Right. Yeah.
And you see all of it, right? Where do you go? Do you go to the biggest?
Right. Yeah. You look
mass?
like New York City is a big city. Mexico City is a big city. Do I go to one of them?
Yeah, but you're not. I don't think you're looking at cities. I think you're looking at overall land mass. Are you going to, our side? Or are you going to, the European side, Africa? I mean, that's huge over there, right? So where do you go?
You're right. Yeah, you'd go to the bigger, massive land, assuming that you were an alien that also lived on land, and
But if you had the mental capacity to be able to travel all the way over here, you would think that they would have somebody like we have. We have people who could understand ancient languages, decoders. We have people like that. So if you're going to a foreign planet, they would bring a decoder with them.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, a lot of that for us in the past was like the Rosetta Stone, where we lucked out and had a translation device for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's say hypothetically they have some kind of computer that so they can translate. Then I guess you try to catch radio waves and listen to what they're saying, and whoever they talk about most. Hey, we're here, Kim Kardashian. We're here. Right. We're here to talk to you.
We're here to talk to your leader.
Yeah, we've caught it on your radio waves. You won't stop talking about her, so she must be your leader.
Man, I don't know though. So. Yeah, so they go, say they target the United States. You can't even argue that we're a superpower at the very least, right?
Right.
So they come here to the U.S. They go to talk to our president. Our
president completely ruins the whole conversation. It goes garbage. It's bad.
I think
they declare war on us 17 minutes later.
Approaching the United States would be bad in general.
Yeah.
We see a foreign craft. It's going to be intercepted no matter what, right? Unless it's too fast for us to intercept it. But it will be intercepted. And it will be, just like you see like on the on the movies and stuff, you're like, attention bogey, like you're going to be shot down if you don't comply, like that type of shit. They don't fucking understand English, like what the,
Right. I mean, that's how humans are. If we had something insane like that come from space, our first reaction would be aggressive. You know it would.
Of course, yeah.
That's
That's
how we
like,
react to unknowns.
I mean, think about it as here, right? If you saw some random person just walking in, they're completely friendly, but they just walk right behind me.
Yeah, in your
Uh,
house. Yeah,
I will immediately meet it with aggression. You're here in my
yeah.
space. You know?
Screaming at them, brandishing the closest weapon you can grab. I have my teacup here. I'd pick that up and like, I'm gonna smack you over the head with this. What are you doing in my house? Like
Exactly.
immediately.
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, I understand that, but that's exactly what we would do, and I wouldn't really want to go to a place that's like that. You know, I mean, if they're at a civilization to the point where they could come and see us, they must know what our, possible reactions would be.
right. Yeah. I don't know. I hopefully. I mean, they would have to be ones to pull the punches and be like, hey, wait, no, we don't want to fight. Like, we would fight to tooth and nail if we thought they were,
Of
aggressive.
course, of course.
And there's been science fiction about this kind of concept. Like, I believe in Star Trek, the first species that humans meet are the Vulcans. Spock, and it's a conflict, if I'm not mistaken. If ever I might be wrong on that, but I think there's a conflict at the start where they blow each other's ships up before they're like, wait, we don't want to fight.
Yeah.
But it's the first reaction that happens when you meet a stranger.
So it would. I always feel like we would have some sort of a motive behind interactions. So if they landed here first, we would be getting information. They would not be safe because we'd be trying to get as much information as possible. We're trying to get information on who they are. We're doing tests on them. Whatever their technology is, we're reverse engineering it to try to figure out how it works.
Right.
It's not going to be a good interaction no matter what. It's going to be terrible for them to try to benefit us, and we're going to try to weaponize any of it. That's really what it is. It's about getting the best technology so you could keep your foot firmly pressed against the throat of your opponent.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that any extra technology would be weaponized, and that's really the main that's the purpose of all this. As soon as people started having possessions, people had greed, and they were able to flaunt their possessions in front of the person next to them. That's really what it is.
Well, and to be fair, every other competition that exists between species, such as cultural, industrial, et cetera, none of it's as important as military. Like, we can catch up on the industrial stuff later, but we have to have weapons that we can match them with. So that'd be our first reaction. Of course, we would do exactly what you said.
Of course, yeah.
So you've mentioned it before, but the Orson Welles War of the Worlds.
Yeah. So you were talking about what would we do? So if they showed up, even that hovering ship, I mean, people would kill themselves. People would freak out. People would absolutely freak out.
And there'd be a billion different ways that people would try to think what it is. Like, there'd be people who are saying it's like the coming of Jesus or some other religious, belief on that.
Jesus arrived in a spaceship.
There'd be people out there that are like,
it's Jesus, he's back, and he's got a spaceship.
yeah. I mean, it sounds stupid, but there'd be people out there who would try to like communicate it as kind of like
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think humans could handle it. Even something as simple as that, I think they would go crazy. We fear the unknown so much. That's why, as you were talking about, like conspiracy theorists, they have their crazy beliefs and whatnot, but that's a very small part of the population. The rest of the population just turns a blind eye to it, like you were saying, just goes back to the normal life, ignores it. They don't have concern of it because we'd rather just ignore something we don't understand.
So I was talking to somebody about this on my buddy's podcast actually, and I was just talking about how like you associate things like aliens with the tinfoil hats, right? And that really is why it's not something you could talk about, because if it's associated with tinfoil hats, with crazy people, right? Then they kind of have a stigma behind the conversation, which makes you not want to bring it up. So if it were possible let's just talk about that for a second. If it were possible that Roswell, had an alien encounter, if it's possible
Right.
that there's an alien in Area 51, if it's possible that there has been an alien right here, them wanting us to forget about it by just really driving this, if you believe in aliens, you're crazy.
Yeah.
That would be a good way to shut people up.
Right.
That would be a really good way of doing it. Saying, you know what, this person's crazy. Putting that, like, if it happened right away, and very first time an alien ever landed, they're like, crazy farmer believes he interacted with alien. If the news said that, everybody believes it's crazy, and then they keep driving that over and over and over the past when was it, like in the 50s, 60s, something like that?
Yeah, it was like early 50s, I think.
So over the course of that entire time, they're driving that if you believe in this fact, you are absolutely crazy. Nobody's going to talk about it. And if they think they see something, they're like, I'm not going to say that. That's crazy. You know what I mean? That would be a great way to shut people up.
Definitely. That's how you discourage bad behavior. You make it sound like something that's unacceptable and weird. And you're not wrong. And I bet you there's conspiracy theorists that are like, yeah, man, that's exactly what they're doing, man. They're making us sound like we're crazy.
Right? Yeah.
You understand me, dude.
Yeah, probably.
Also, dude, let me tell you about the water.
Don't even get me started on chemtrails.
Kim Kardashian trails. That's a callback.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be possible, but that would be a good tactic. That's all I'm saying. But with, War of the Worlds and all that stuff, people would freak out. So, of course, you have to be cautious about what you release. I understand that. But the problem is, like, we should know. I want to know. I honestly do. I want to know before I freaking die.
Right.
If there's something out there. And why does anybody have the liberty to determine whether other people should know that?
Because they know that a huge part of the population just freak out. They lose their shits if they,
Okay,
did know.
Well, we're overcrowded anyway. Maybe. I mean, they see these riots over people winning a fucking basketball game. So they're like, you know what? If we talked about aliens, this would get way out of hand. Let's just go ahead and not. That, I mean, it does it does make sense. We don't have the amount of authority to combat that. So
right.
Yeah, I suppose I'll give you that one.
I mean, I don't trust society. I don't trust humans. The whole mob mentality thing.
Of course.
One human, if they were told like aliens exist, like, hey, we're pulling into this room. Hey, aliens exist. Here's proof of it. They would have the steps of what is it called, the
5 stages of grief.
Yeah, that kind of thing, right? At first they'd deny it, and then they'd bargain, and et cetera, but then eventually they would accept it. A single person would. But mob mentality, man, humans would go crazy.
Yeah.
They would be insane. I don't trust them as a group, as a society. 7 billion of us, we would destroy ourselves.
Dude, that's too many.
Yeah, and
I know. I'm seeming bad by saying that, but geez, there are way too many people.
Yeah, that's a completely different topic. We talk about
that is. We'll talk about that on another.
I can't remember the exact statistics, so I'm pulling these out of my ass. But if I'm not mistaken, like of the humans that have lived like the last 10,000 years, half of them are alive right now, or something to that effect. Like our population has expanded so dramatically.
It's crazy.
I mean,
it's because, and seriously, we're getting way off track here. And this will make me seem really evil, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's because we spend too much supporting other places. So there is a natural order that takes place. If you send money off to support people in other countries, they're going to end up having more kids, which gives you more reason to support them. You know what I mean? So sometimes people need to die out.
We're off the boat, so I'm gonna swim with you. So here I come swimming with you. the natural nature of populations is to expand, is to consume. All populations do that of every single species.
Yeah.
That's how they survive. Uh, and there's natural ways that this populations just don't expand
Yeah, it
infinitely,
has a way of
which is
balancing itself out.
yeah. But we humans have through technology made it so we have expansive resources that are dramatically higher than our species should have. Um, we've made that technology that's made it possible for there to be billions of us that just shouldn't exist.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I mean, again, we're way off the boat. But how? When does that end? I mean, we're at 7.5 billion or whatever,
It
right?
ends when we have a natural predator. That's when it
Right,
ends.
the aliens.
Because if you think about it, because you are bringing it back with aliens.
There
Good
you go.
job. But think about it. So if you know deer, right? Deer overpopulate, right?
Yeah,
They just completely expand, just like we do. Well, with all the abundance of deer, there is a growth in the wolf population
right. Because they have more
because
food.
now there's more food. More food means more more children, and more resources means more life. So with that all happening, it once again starts to balance the deer
Right.
out,
Well,
which will
because then
lessen the wolves. You
well,
know,
yeah, the wolves will increase for a while, but then they'll run out of food, and then they'll decrease, and yeah, it's
exactly. And then it'll come to this natural order like it's always been. But right now we don't have a natural order with humans. We have
no.
this time where we invest all of this money. And there's a quote from a book. Hopefully I remember it. I believe it's called My Name My Name is Ishmael, or just called Ishmael. Maybe it's just called Ishmael. I think I'm confusing that with
Yep.
Moby Dick. Anyway, it says increase hold on. Um,
You're gonna try to figure it out.
I got this. It's back here somewhere. So, intensification of production to feed an increased population leads to a still greater increase in population,
Yeah. Okay.
which means overproducing to feed a lot of people leads to more people. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And that's it. That's really what the problem is. We're going way too far into this right now. I understand this, Chris.
No, yeah,
but
but
but yeah,
it's interesting stuff.
there
Um,
there are definitely too many of us.
yeah, but I don't know. Like China was smart when they did they tried to limit their population with the one child thing, but
Yeah.
then that caused all sorts of side effects that any attempt to fix things always makes it worse in a different way. But definitely. So the long story short is, I told you this story before, but there's a episode of The Twilight Zone, and in that, um, I believe it's called To Serve Man. And long story short, these aliens show up, and they're all nice to us and help us and whatnot, and they bring this book that's like their Bible. And it's called, we translate the title, it's called To Serve Man. We're like, oh man, these guys are just here to help us. That's amazing.
Um,
And they convince some of us to come back to their planet with them. And when people are climbing onto the ship to like go back to their planet, and woo, yeah, this is amazing. One of the scientists runs up and says, I translated more of the book. It's a cookbook. It's a cookbook.
was that
And
was that on The Simpsons? Did they do a parody of that?
I'm pretty sure they parodied
I
that
think
at one
they I
point or
think they
another.
may
It's
have
one of the
too.
most
Yeah.
famous episodes.
I think it was just like
It
a cooking for humans. It was like or cook for humans, and they blew off the dust, and it
yes.
says like how to cook, some shit like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been parodied through that, but it's actually an interesting episode because it's that whole concept of trusting people because they're nice to us,
Uh-huh.
and then hey, guess what? When someone's nice to you, such as maybe some aliens showing up, why are they nice to you? They want something back. Um, I can't remember. Oh man, I can't remember where it's from, but I read some science fiction book once where aliens show up and are nice to us and help us improve our industry and whatnot, and they're doing it because they need more allies in a galactic war, and so they're giving us all these fancy ships and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, come fight this war with us. You're our allies now, and we're like, oh shit, we didn't sign up for this. Like, you know. But again, the whole concept, like, no matter who it is, like, they're always wanting something. So why would aliens visit us besides wanting something from us?
I think and this is just my thought on it is if they're like us,
Yeah.
do you think us going to another planet and seeing life on another planet is because we want something or because we want to know?
Right. We want purpose.
Curiosity. I think it's curiosity, honestly.
I believe it's Arthur C. Clarke who said this. I might be wrong. I might be quoting the wrong person, but there's two possibilities. Either we are alone in the universe, or we are not alone in the universe. And I'm not sure which is scarier.
I think, honestly, being alone is scarier.
Yeah.
Being the only, in the entire universe, being the only opportunity to strive and be successful. If we destroy this planet that we're on, we are the only life in the universe.
This could be it.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. After that, it's completely silent. And there's, I mean, there may be planets out there that don't know that there's all this noise going on here on Earth. But if we screw this up, there's no more noise anywhere ever.
Right.
That's I don't.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, you're
absolutely.
right.
I mean, that's scary. This is the one chance. If this is true, if it were to be true that we are the only ones here, this is the one chance of living conscious beings.
Yes. Yeah. We're doing a really shitty job at it, by the way.
Absolutely. Yes.
We're really fucking it up.
Do I believe that? No, I don't. No.
Right, because we're talking about how massive this universe is. There has to be something out there.
Of course, and so I know that our planets are gaseous for the most part, right? Other planets in our solar system, but do you think that there are potentially planets that have existed like ours? Because everything's drifted apart. Right, all these they say from the Big Bang everything's gone
right. Yeah,
there. So, do you think that there was potentially a sun or a star, I should say, with a planet around it that has slowly drifted to cause that life to go out?
So the zone that we're in, which is actually a pretty large zone within relation to our sun, is called the Goldilocks zone. Basically, not too hot, not too cold. Yeah. That's the kind of concept. And if I'm not mistaken, we found planets that may be in the Goldilocks zone in other solar systems, out within our galaxy. The problem is, because of the size of a planet like ours, it's difficult to find them. We look and we can see gas giants because they're massive, but our tiny little rock planets, it's hard to actually see them with the technology we have. But if I'm not mistaken, they've discovered a few. It's complicated how they do it. Basically, like, ways that they can see planets around other stars is they look at the star and they stare at the star, and it gets dimmer and brighter as planets move in front of it, and that's how they can tell there's a planet around it.
Okay, that's how they can tell that there's something orbiting it.
Yeah, it's crazy, but we're talking about looking at things, billions of miles away, so it's not that simple. But I'd have to look it up. But if I'm not mistaken, they have discovered planets that are within that zone. I mean, we don't know what's on it. We don't know. It's probably just another planet like Mars that's nothing's on it. But yeah, who knows?
So do you really believe that Mars was dry the whole time?
Haven't they found ice on it?
I think they have. Yeah, but I meant inhabitable, I guess I should have said.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever Martians or anything interesting like that.
Nothing ever? No Gazoo?
Right? I don't know. It's hard to think about it, because that was, of course, the obsession of science fiction early on, was Martians and little green men from Mars, and that's been the obsession for decades. It was they're on Mars, and I don't think so.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a bummer.
No, it's cool. I just I guess you just gotta hope, because it's really the closest thing we have, right? So if you don't believe that there's something there, then
I think there probably is life out there somewhere, but I think it's not near us.
You don't think it's that close?
No, I think you'd have to travel pretty far to find it.
So this is a little skewed, this image that I just pulled up. I don't know if you could see that, but that is a photo of Jupiter from a project called Juno. It's a Juno mission, and it took a fascinating close-up image of the dragon's eye on Jupiter.
Okay.
The color has been enhanced between digital artists that like kind of, you know, exaggerated some parts and stuff to really enhance it because of how the photo was when they took it. But look at that. It shows like a storm right there. So they say that dragon's eye, you can see that white spot is like a similar to like a hurricane, I guess. And then you can see like all this gas and stuff, all these waves.
Right. Dude, those planets are gorgeous. And that storm, is it the storm on Jupiter that's been going for hundreds of years?
I think
It's
so.
either, yeah, it's either that or Saturn. Oh, I broke stuff.
What'd you break?
Oh, it's not loading it's not showing me your image. It's frozen on my side, but I have seen it before. But yeah, your screen's frozen in place because technology is terrible.
It's okay. Your audio is coming in great, so that's all.
Oh, okay, that works. You know, when the aliens come and give us better technology, maybe we'll have good enough internet to make it so we can share.
That's really all we want.
We just want good Wi-Fi.
We just want to be able to do a really good podcast. Can you guys help us out with that?
Yeah. How do we set up fiber optic across the whole planet? Can you guys help us with that?
They what they really need to do. I know we're getting super fucking off topic right now, but they need to change our fucking our grid.
Yeah.
We have, you know, like our electric grid that we have is so fucking out of date.
Yeah. That's a political conversation I don't want to get into.
I feel like, I mean, we've talked about Edison and Tesla several times.
Yeah. Oh no, mine goes into like our infrastructure sucking. That's like us not spending money as a country. Like we pay tax dollars and then we give tax breaks to billionaires.
But look how much we spent to get it all set up. We're like, yeah, why fix what's not broken? You know what I mean? Yeah, it'll do.
Yeah, it's like driving a car and it's making a weird noise, and you're like, it's not broken.
Right.
I'll keep driving it. It's fine.
Check engine light. I'll just put a sticker right over that.
Yeah, car's still running.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really sucks.
There's states that have like free Wi-Fi and all that shit, though, dude.
Yeah.
Or, cities, I should say. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if there's entire states.
No, it's cities, but yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. That's completely off topic. I don't know. Was there anything else we want to talk about in relation to this topic, though, before we?
Yeah, dude. Aliens.
Aliens.
So,
like,
have you ever seen anything in the sky that made you look twice?
Not that I thought was an alien. This one time, I was like 14 or something like that. 13, 14, sleeping on the trampoline with my cousin. You ever do that when you were younger?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I actually used to fall asleep on my skateboard, laying on my back on my skateboard, staring up the sky. I remember Mars was really, really close to where we could see it, as you know, like a red star up in the sky.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember laying in the driveway and just like staring up at Mars and staring up at the sky. I used to do that all the time. Yeah.
Hell yeah. But we're laying on the trampoline, right? Me and my cousins, and a massive I don't know, I guess I could call it a shooting star. A meteor shoots across the sky, and it was large, and it was red. Like, it was huge. Like, it was like 4 times as big as it should normally be. Instead of being white, it was like a red ball of fire shooting across the sky. I didn't think it was an alien, but you just reminded me of that. It was It was one of those things where it's like, you know, you're 14 years old, you're in the middle of a freaking backyard, and you're like, oh shit, I want to sleep inside now. I'm scared. A meteor's gonna freaking fall on my face and kill me.
Have you seen like a lot of shooting stars growing up?
I used to back in like Utah and Wyoming. You don't see anything like that here now.
I used to see them all the time. From like driving from California to Vegas, or we used to go from California to Arizona a lot. I don't remember why, but I used to go with my grandma to Arizona, and I'd stare up at the sky and I'd see falling stars at the very least. But,
yeah.
I remember there being this comet too. There was this one time we were driving to Arizona. I must have been somewhere between 5 and 5 and 8.
Was it Halley's?
I thought Halley's Comet. I thought it was Halley's Comet, right? But I remember looking up Halley's Comet not too long ago, and I remember reading that it like comes every 70 years, but I don't think it came during that time.
I'd have to look up. It came earlier in our lives, but I don't remember how long ago it was. I'm gonna look that up because I want to know.
I'm checking right now too.
It doesn't come by very often. But
last time it was here was 1986. That was before I was born.
Wait, really? I swore I saw it.
Comet was seen in 1997.
Okay, that would have been when I saw
Halley Bopp.
What?
It was a Halley Bopp comet or
Halley.
Halley Bopp. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Halley's Comet.
That's not. You said Halley's. I said Halley's.
Yeah, it's pronounced Halley. It's okay.
I just saw. No, these are two different ones.
Oh, the one I'm talking about is Halley's Comet.
Halley Bopp.
Oh, yeah, that did come through 80. I guess that's not the one I'm thinking of.
Halley's was 86.
Huh. I have no clue.
Halley Bopp. These are images that I don't recall seeing though. This is like huge. I just remember seeing kind of like it was like this much of it, maybe a little bit after, just like maybe that much after, but just like a half moon and just this big ass bright thing in the sky.
Yeah.
But that's crazy that I even saw that though. So I mean, it had to have been this Hale. It's got to be Hale, Hale, Hale Bopp, in April 1997.
Maybe that's the one I saw too then, because I was born in '86, so I didn't see Halley's. I wouldn't recall it.
Yeah, I mean that really has to be it. I don't know of another one that came.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
In our childhood, space was. I mean, I still like space, but space was way more exciting in our childhood. With the shuttle missions and
Lightyear.
Well, it was just way more exciting then. I loved watching like videos and whatnot of the shuttle missions and whatnot.
So let me ask you a question. If you could find out everything there is to know about the sea or everything there is to know about the cosmos.
Oh, space, definitely.
That's it, right? I mean, there are people who want to know the depths of the ocean, what that contains, and I have no desire to know.
There's neat things in the ocean, but
I think that the ocean is still earthly to me.
Right.
I don't want to know earthly. Earthly doesn't excite me. I want to know beyond that.
Definitely. If I could travel to stars, like without question, I'd be up there, just like doing whatever, like.
Okay, one more thing.
Yeah.
To know time, all the way back as far as you can, or to know what's out there.
So I'd want to know time just so I could win dumb arguments with people on the internet. No, actually, see what happened in 1943 was actually this. Good try, guys. You're wrong.
You're thinking that's as close as you're thinking 1943. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what happened in fucking 1943.
I don't know. We don't know what happened in 1952 or whatever it was for.
Why are you still talking 19s?
We don't know what happened for Roswell, man. That was just 50 years ago. We don't know. 60 years ago.
I'm talking about early time.
No, space, dude. I still lean on space.
So you don't want to know like very first the first year.
Oh no, that'd be neat, but
you rather know what's out there currently today.
I want to know what's out there, man. I want to know about it now.
There's got it. Look, this is the thing. All right. There's got to be other life out there somehow. There is no way that there is only one that is the perfect, the perfect in every way, right? The Goldilocks,
right?
That could harbor life. There's no way,
right? And well,
all of these,
there's complexities of life being able to happen depending on people's translations of it, but like abiogenesis, it requires proper chemicals and all sorts of stuff in the proper environment. But when you're talking about billions of billions, like it's had to have happened. You're right.
But there's I mean, think about it. There's a lot of similarities between everything that's out there, right? We have comets that come through, and then another comet that comes through, and there's so many similarities between those comets. So many similarities between the planets we have around us.
Yeah.
You know, there's suns with moons with other planets around them. You know what I mean? Or Earths with moons, I should say. Planets with their own moons. Jupiter and all these planets that have moons on them.
Yeah. You know, you just
Jupiter
reminded me
has
of
a moon.
a dumb thing, and I might be wrong on this, but I swear I'm right on this. Did you know that the moon, our moon, is it's not from Earth. What happened was a meteor hit Earth, and like a massive asteroid or meteor or whatever, you know, and blew off a chunk of it, and that chunk went in orbit around Earth. But like it was an outside force that created the moon. It wasn't like you know, the solar system mostly forms with its own things. It's like a cloud that then forms into objects. But yeah, like it was an object that hit Earth and blew off a chunk of Earth, and that became our moon.
So the chunk of Earth is moon.
Well, mixed in with like that asteroid or whatever that hit us.
So how do they know that? So like the basis of moon rock is Earth rock?
No, I mean there's stuff on the moon that's not from Earth, kind of thing. Like it's stuff from, but it's not completely. I guess I don't know. I'm getting.
I mean,
deeper. I'm not.
It has like a million craters on it too. Why the thing is, why does the moon have so many craters and we don't? I mean, I guess we do have a lot of craters.
We have a few, yeah. The reason why is because it doesn't have an environment. It doesn't have an atmosphere. So us, we have
to dissipate things
that
from hitting.
And also tectonics. We have tectonic plates and whatnot moving around stuff and shifting and whatnot. And so
go ahead.
So that hides the blemishes. But the moon doesn't have an atmosphere. It doesn't have any. It's cold all the way to the center. There's no molten core, so it just sits there inert.
So get this. So when if the moon, because it has no protection, gets struck hard enough to really back it up a little bit, what kind of impact does that have on us? Because we've already proven we know that the moon has impact on, you know, the currents, right? The tides and stuff. So
yeah, the moon actually helps us. It actually is kind of a shield there, and has caught things that probably would have hit us if it wasn't there. You know. But shoot, I'm thinking of I think it's the like 2001 Time Machine movie. In there, they actually have that where scientists do something dumb with the moon, and the moon breaks up into pieces, and it destroys it. Like civilization dies because of it, because like the moon like falls down upon the Earth. But so like this has like already been like talked about, but we rely on the tides quite a bit for weather and whatnot. The weather would be more erratic without tides, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I don't know deep enough about it to be able to, you know, tell you what would happen if the moon wasn't there. And I mean, eventually that'll be someone else's problem. The moon is actually moving away from us by like, I don't know, like an inch a year or something like that. Like it's slightly lazing away from us.
It's because we're fucking up Earth, and it's like, oh, hey, I want nothing to do with this.
But it's like running away as fast as it can. It's like, fuck, you guys better watch out. In 1 billion years, you're gonna be without me, and then you'll be sad.
So, have you ever heard the theory about the dark side of the moon? Because typically the moon faces us, right, the whole time.
It's in a geosynchronous pattern with its face. Its rotation and its orbit are equal, so the same face is always facing us.
So, have you heard about the conspiracy theories with the dark side of the moon?
No, I bet you there's like secret bases or something on there.
Yeah, secret bases, alien life, all kinds of things on the dark side of the moon.
Okay, so I read a really bad book last year or this year, I can't remember. There's this podcast I listened to called 372 Pages You'll Never Get Back, and it's like a hate book club. And they read Ready Player One. You've heard of that one, right?
Yeah, I mean it was a movie that I didn't watch, but yeah.
The book's really bad. Purely my opinion, but the book's bad. That same author, Ernest Cline, wrote a second book called Armada that was even worse. It's a garbage book, but it's about like secret aliens who did a Nazi symbol on one of Jupiter's moons, and I'm not even making this up. That's in the book. It's a really dumb book, but in that book, they have a secret like anti-alien base on the dark side of the moon that's ready to fight these aliens when they show up. It's a dumb book. But
Are you
again,
are you talking about a space force?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
something we're developing here.
I know. This is a bad idea. Yeah, we can't figure out how to fix any of our problems here on Earth. Like we don't know how to keep from having people on our streets here in the United States starve to death. I'm going political again. Sorry. Space Force. I don't think there's anything up there. We suck at doing stuff with space.
Nothing at all.
Dude, I'm boring. I don't believe anything
No,
interesting.
no, but okay. So, what would the point be of hiding it on the dark side? So, if we had like if we started trying to have a base on the moon, right? Because isn't the shadowy side of the moon, isn't that like freezing freaking cold?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the moon's always cold. It actually has issues because it has no atmosphere. So when the sun is out, it actually can like blind you and whatnot. Because it's so bright, because there's no atmosphere breaking up the light, and you also get hit with all sorts of radiation and stuff that we don't get hit with on Earth because you don't have any atmosphere protecting you.
When the sunlight hits the moon's surface, the temperature can reach 260 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
When the
like
sun
yeah.
goes down, it could dip to minus 280 degrees.
There you go.
So you basically you can't live on the fucking moon.
No.
260 degrees Fahrenheit to minus 280, you'd be screwed either way.
Again, old sci-fi was like, dude, we're gonna have bases on the moon. We're gonna take vacations to the moon, man. It'll be great.
So that would mean the dark side of the moon would typically be minus 280 if there's no sunlight, right? Or colder.
Well, so I mean, it's called the dark side of the moon because it's the side we don't see. But like when the moon is a crescent moon, sunlight's hitting the back of it.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, there's times where, like an eclipse, where the sun only hits the back of it, right?
Right. Yeah. Lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be fair, if I was an alien and I needed to come murder all humans, I'd land on the backside of the moon. Like it's like the last perch, just like peek around at them. They can't see me up here. I'm hiding on the backside of it. My death squad's here.
I wouldn't think that they would come here with any malintent. Like, why would they be like... The only thing is, potentially, they're in a planet that has already been... Let's say their planet basically has been overridden by another alien who came over with technology and was like, we fucked up our planet. We're going to live here now. And they, for hundreds of millions of years, they were on their ship. And then they got taken over. And then they're going to come here and take over us now.
Yeah. I mean,
they fucked that planet up.
Hypothetically, if we screwed up this planet, which we're going to eventually, but we destroy Earth and we're like, we need somewhere new to live, we jump on ships, we go fly somewhere, we find a planet.
That is guaranteed to happen.
Yeah. And then we fly off and we find a planet that has like primitive aliens there. Let's say they're like, ancient Greece style technology. They have technology and whatnot, but it's a really nice planet they're on. We're going to take that planet from them.
But think about gravity, right? They have gravity, but their gravity is more intense. They're going to be way smaller than us, right? I mean, they've got to be. Or stronger.
Yeah, I mean...
No, with more intense gravity, they would be stronger.
They would be stronger. They'd also probably be shorter, because...
shorter and stronger.
When we go into space, like, that I can't remember the name of the guy, there's this guy who lived on the space station for, like, a year and a half. He grew by, like, 4 inches. And then when he came back to Earth, it compressed back down, and he lost those, like... Maybe it wasn't 4, maybe it was, like, an inch or something like that. I might be exaggerating that.
He got taller?
Yeah, he got taller because his spine was no longer being compressed by gravity. It was only, I think it was only like an inch or something like that. But then when he got back to Earth, it compressed back down over time, and he grew back to his normal height. But if we were on a planet with more gravity, like you're saying, we would be shorter.
Yeah. It would also be, I think, if we went to a planet, like we traveled to a planet with more gravity, we would have too much resistance to function.
Yeah, I mean, how I don't know.
Imagine. I mean, it'd be like having at least like a toddler on your shoulders, right? As you're trying to walk and stuff.
I assume someone's probably done studies, but I bet you we couldn't take that much gravity. Like even if you could like withhold it, like hold against it with the strength, whatnot against it, like how much gravity can take before the metal in your body starts ripping through your cells and like the iron and whatnot is naturally.
I mean, we have a lot of. I mean, you think about G-force. Like when, like 4Gs or whatever. You're taking the gravity times X
Right.
amount, right?
Yeah, your blood pressure screws up and you pass out.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that happens to me on like rides now.
Yeah.
Not the pass out part, but I start to like see
Yeah,
spots and shit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
good.
I mean, yeah. How much gravity would it take before the blood can't pump up to our brain because
Yeah.
our heart can't fight the gravity?
So if they were to reverse that, they come to a place with less gravity. They're jumping around like fucking people on the moon, basically. Wow.
A bunch of weird aliens with just like spears are just slaughtering us because we're like we can't shoot them. They're too fast.
They're so strong.
Their gravity's 10 times the Earth's gravity. How do we stop them?
So let's wrap this up, man. So what do we? I mean, what do we do? What we have aliens? Maybe. Do you believe they're here on Earth now?
No.
Not at all.
But I think they're out somewhere.
Not once. I don't think so either. The reason
But-
why I don't think so is because the closest potentially habitable planet is too far away for them to have developed the technology and came all the way up here or screwed up the place that they're living at currently to get all
Right.
the way over here. But I'm definitely saying that based off of our growth in technology, which has
Right.
taken forever. I mean, if you
Right,
think about
unless they got a
you
head
think
start
about the
on us.
strides we made from the 19th century to now,
Yeah.
that's huge, right? So if they had those strides from the very beginning, I mean, they could be well beyond where we are. But I don't think so. I don't think that they're here. I don't think that they're here.
Yeah, and I do think that if the government found out that they were out there, they shouldn't tell us. We can't handle it.
You don't think that will be like population control, basically?
We call it the Orson Welles radio play solution.
Right. If there was something that landed in 1957 or whenever it was,
We've given like 6 different years from when it happened, but yeah, sometimes
it's probably it's easy to consider that whatever that is not alive.
right.
They've done their research. They've concluded nothing. We don't have the technology to prove that we've reverse engineered something well enough to.
Yeah.
No.
Unless that's like where they got the microchip.
And that's what, like,
Right.
I was talking
Who
to my
knows?
friend, and it's my last call back to that. I was talking to my friend about it, and he was saying that we had such growth in technology after, that time happened, where we had nuclear technology, we had all this stuff that happened. Think about from that time to now, all the stuff, TVs and blah, blah, and all this stuff that happened. But if these beings had technology to let them travel all the way over here to create some sustainable
Right.
fuel to do all this stuff, and the
We'd have
most
something
the
better.
most we have is internal combustion engines and and fucking me being able to cast my phone to the TV, like
Right.
that's nothing. That's nothing. We
No.
would have so much more because this is convenient stuff. This is not things that's
The only thing we could actually read was the internet. Like, oh, connecting computers
Right.
together. Okay.
the
We can't figure out the rest of this on here. Oh well.
The only thing that I would think is plausible is if they had some sort. I mean, because we have fossil fuels, right? We have things that we draw from the earth to power our ships or our cars, whatever our vehicles are, right?
Yep.
Maybe they had something they could harness aside from that. I mean, and we've even gone to the molecular level for, nuclear technology.
Right.
But maybe they have something beyond that we don't have the resource to do.
Yeah.
But traveling at the speed of light or close to it,
Still doesn't get you that far very fast.
But this is another time. So I want to talk to you. Speaking of time and speed of light, I want to talk to you about time travel, the potential to time travel. And I honestly do not believe in, not even a little bit, time traveling backward. But to time travel into the future.
Yeah, we can get into that. Of course,
I believe in that. I believe in that.
How would I blow your mind right now? You're traveling into the future right now.
Of course I am. But I mean to significantly time travel into the future.
Time skip.
I watched something that was Stephen Hawking, and it was called Into the Universe. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it. It's two or three episodes, but Into the Universe, and let me tell you, it will really make you think.
Okay.
So, time travel backwards, because of all the the paradoxes and all that stuff that happens.
Right.
I really don't believe in that. But to time travel to the future, I believe that that's a thing. So we'll talk about that on the next episode. But yeah, I had fun, man. This was good.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
all right.
We went some places.
Yeah, we sure did. We talked about other countries and people dying. That's what you do.
Yep, that's the sum up of the episode.
All right. See you later, buddy.
Goodbye.